Jessica Blair Herman, welcome to Pop Alternative. Thank you so much for your time.
Hello, thank you for having
No,
me.
I'm excited to chat with you. I mean, you know what? It's interesting because, there's a lot of TV shows out there and there's an amazing time for television. And, Euphoria is kind of one of those shows that just the scale of this show, even from I feel like when episodes of season one started rolling out, just was
Mhm.
really big and everyone kind of talked about it. And I remember, finally when we were getting episodes for season three and like it was such a long wait, everyone was just talking about it. Episodes are rolling out of season three. What's that like, being part of something in terms of the scale? Like, do you try not to think about it? Is it kind of maybe, more exciting to think about the scale of something, or is it more nerve-wracking? What's that like for you scale-wise with something like this?
I think it's exciting. There's definitely, I think being nervous and excited is like the same sort of baby. Like it's sort of the same feeling inside your body. You just sort of like, where are you placing it? For this, I definitely was a bit naive to the expanse of it in a great way. I think it was like very positive because we just, you're working with such incredible professionals and you come in, you do your work, and you have a lot of fun and you get to play, and it's like the coolest playground you've ever been on in your life. And then, the show comes out maybe like a year later. So you've done the work, and now you get to sort of see how it rolls out into the universe and the culture and how people absorb it.
Mhm.
So I think in a great way, you kind of just like any other job, you go in, you do it, and then people in our world get to respond to it in with such enthusiasm.
What you just said, that kind of it's in your hands and it's out of your hands once a show gets
Yeah.
disseminated. Do you feel
Yeah.
like when you sign up to be an actor or a storyteller, do you feel like that's coming? Or do you not think about that? That idea of like, because it's a weird, overwhelming feeling, right? Like you make something and it's yours, right? And then you have to
Yeah.
keep it under wraps, and then it's not yours and the cast and crew anymore. It's everyone's,
Right.
right?
Yeah, it's not yours anymore. And I think that goes for the cast and crew. Like you kind of have to let go. Like you get to do your job no matter what it is on a show and do it the best of your ability. And luckily with HBO, everything's so elevated and you get to work with such brilliant artistic human beings that are really trying to make a difference in television history. And I don't know, the best I could compare it to is like a piece of art. Like once you've done that and you put it up in the gallery, it's sort of out of your hands of what people are going to stand in front of it and think what they're going to think. You can't control anybody else's thoughts or judgments. You just get to put out there what you felt inspired by.
Absolutely. For this project specifically, like, did you get in terms of the scripts, right? Like, did you get your scripts? Did you get a couple of scripts? Like, and how much in advance were you able to get scripts? Because I feel like this is the scale's big. Maybe you just got
Yeah.
sides for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you never know, right? Like,
Well, I think it's I believe Jacob said it a few weeks ago, or who knows how long it was, but it was, printed that he was like, it's sort of like, an FBI file. There's stuff that's redacted. And I think that's sort of a great way to think about it. Like, and I also think that Sam Levinson's so brilliant with actors that he kind of only gives what you need.
yeah.
So if you are an overthinker as an actor, whether it's purposeful or not, he can see the world, he can see the vision. But as my character, I don't necessarily need to know
Yeah.
everything else. But also because a lot of it's, the story that's being told and how it's being told. But I knew exactly who my character was, so I could do my homework.
But like for those episodes where we see your character with Sydney Sweeney and everything, did you
Yeah.
get that full script of that episode?
Yeah. No.
So okay, so like it's interesting to me then. So, you know, at some point, the episodes roll out, you could see everything, but even like a lot of your scenes and everything, like with everything going on and, in those scenes specifically with the wedding and everything, like I feel like this is one of the most genre bending shows on television, right? Where sometimes I kind of watch the show and I'm like, what am I watching? Right? Like am I like is it drama? Is it comedy? Right? Like it's a lot of different things, right?
Mhm.
Suspense and thriller, especially with the episodes rolling out
But
right
the
now.
last,
Like,
right.
exactly. Do you notice the genre bending elements like early on, even just reading sides? Is it more familiar, like noticeable when you get there, like the genre bending component of Euphoria?
I don't know if it's noticeable. I mean, you certainly feel the energy and everyone's sort of on the same page energetically, trying to, everyone's in the same world.
Mhm.
No one's in a separate world, but I think that's because the performances are so grounded. So whether you're feeling like the last episode we all watched, there was that horror thriller element and a lot of Western themes, and, we're dealing with, entrepreneurial ambition and the downfall and the reckoning and stuff like that. So I think, we all understand the themes that Euphoria can bring to the conversation.
Absolutely. I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about, your scenes with Sydney Sweeney and everything. And I'm kind of wondering, like, it's hard to predict, right? But like, those scenes were kind of clipped and it was a big deal online and everything. And like people love that stuff. Like, I mean, were there any conversations with Sydney about like the possibility of like these scenes really being a hit on the internet or like viral? Like, what's that like specifically? Are there any kind of like game plan conversations with her? You just kind
No,
of go into it.
no, no, I don't think we ever talked. No, we never talked about social media ever. For me, I'm not as active on it, one, but
Mhm.
I don't, it's also not something that, I read something the other day that it was like, it's unhappiness masked as happiness. And I
Mhm.
think you can kind of be like sucked in to the
Mhm.
world of social media, and you certainly can't let it get in the way of your performance as an actor. And, a lot of actors aren't on it because I think it can take away um, from what you do, or it can add to it depending on how you work it. It's its own beast and how much you want to be involved in it. For our scenes, we're we're working based on everything we know as actors, how to be, not only professional and vulnerable and in the moment, but like grounded in the stories and the dynamics and the tension between the two of us.
Yeah.
And how do you build that? And getting to know each other was such a privilege. I mean, I keep saying this, but she is such a beautiful actress, vulnerable, and she knows how to dive into Cassie in a way that I think is really admirable.
Absolutely. I feel like whenever like whether you've been on a set one time or thousands of times, there's always going to be kind of learning experiences that you're going to be able to take to future jobs, future like storytelling journeys. And I'm just curious, like kind of based on what you said about working with Sydney, those scenes and everything, and kind of dialed in and the tension, which I think is really interesting. Like, were there any kind of learning experiences from Euphoria specifically, from an acting storyteller perspective, that you'll take to future roles, would you say?
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, I absolutely. What a great question. I think for me, the most is like
Mm,
trust as an actor, like learning from Jacob and Sydney and everyone on that set, from the cast and crew. Like they trust their talent.
mm,
And even if they have moments of not feeling, hooked in, you have a director that really helps you feel like this is a collaborative process. So I think in that way, now when I go onto set, the freedom to play within my own body is such a gift. And we're all unique and we're all constantly evolving and changing as people. And what you're able to bring to one role that you can't do to another, just always to trust your instincts.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I also feel like getting back to what I was saying about kind of the genre bending and everything. I mean, like you've worked on things in the past that are kind of like, what it is, right? Like it's one genre, so to speak. Does the mindset kind of change depending project to project? Like, do you bring things from past stuff to something like Euphoria, or are they completely separate once you wrap them? Because it's all
Uh,
storytelling at the end of the
it's
day,
all
right? Yeah.
right. Absolutely. You're telling a story, and you're trying to do its justice. And really, I think the best part about being an actor is finding out what drives your character.
Mm,
Why do they how do they live in this world? What's their point of view? How do they interact with other people? We all do it differently, and it's
mm,
fascinating, when you start studying human behavior and stuff. For comedies, it's a lot about timing
mm,
and chemistry and hitting those beats and getting those laughs and being grounded and organic like you would in a drama, but also knowing that there's a methodical sort of a music to it,
mm.
that people love. I mean, you talk about like a CBS comedy or anything like that. Like there's a reason people like it. There's a comfort in watching what they know is going to come next. You know, if you look at Friends or anything like that, like there's a multi-camera comedy. I don't know,
Yeah. No,
like
it's
music. It's like a piece of music.
no, absolutely. Well, it's no, the reason why I'm like thinking about this because it's a perfect segue to like my final question. It's almost like you knew what I was gonna ask because no, because it's interesting because you bring up a lot of these really interesting things, and I kind of wanted to ask you, you know, in the beginning of the interview, you talked about HBO, right? And kind of the, you know, scale. We talked about the scale. You bring up HBO and the week to week drops and everything, and I feel like you look back and like I feel like one of the reasons why I really enjoy like TV and film, why I wanted to, because I'm a filmmaker as well, wanted to get into it is the community aspect of it, right? The event aspect of it, right? You know, we see, you know, that week to week drop of Euphoria when a new episode rolls out, it's like an event, right? It's even an event when we find out a new season, and when we get the release date of
Yeah.
Euphoria, right? Like the premiere date, that's its own event. Do you feel like you've always seen kind of, you know, storytelling, acting, TV, and film with that kind of event community kind of lens? Because I find that very interesting.
I think that is very interesting. I think when you're on a set, it feels like a community and you become very close with the people you work with. And you'll hear a lot about the actors that have been on the show since the beginning. They felt like the cast and crew were their family. They were like their family and they grew up with these people. And a lot of actors that have been in this industry for a long time and on the same show, the cast and crew, you're with sometimes them more hours than you are with your own family. So
Yeah.
so I think you build a community, you know, you have that familiarity with people and you're trying to make something that everyone feels really proud of. And I don't know if you go in with that intention, but you go in with a drive, a desire to make something. And I think if everyone's on the same page, then you're in your own community of artists. And isn't that sort of like what we're all striving to be a part of a community?
No, absolutely. So well said. No, it's really true. It's a community, and you know, filmmaking and indie
Yeah,
filmmaking
why do
is
you love it? You know,
it's a
like,
community because I it is it the best like you know, being on a set sometimes, being on a set, you know, that this kind of feeling of like a bunch of people there for one goal to make something really cool together is just a beautiful
yeah,
thing. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And it
and
is, you get to like pull all this stuff from your imagination. I mean, it's so like when you have kids and you see them just like play and play and play and really highs, really lows, you know, how do you tell a story? And I think with Euphoria, you know, Sam's been able to create, especially with the cinematographer, like, you know, the wider shots, these inspirations that we get from film. I mean, there's a reason why we watch older films and feel inspired by them and then want to put them, you know, as a way into what we're looking at now, because there is, I mean, yes, there's the zeitgeist of what Euphoria is and what he's been able to touch on. But I think if you go back and you watch the films that we do all love or television series, and you're like, how did that impact me? Or how would I want to put a little droplet of that in something that I'm making now? Because there's a reason why people felt compelled to watch it, to
yeah.
feel something, to be a part of something. I mean, with Euphoria, you have people that love the hair, the makeup, the music. There's so many people that work on this show in the cast and crew that are impacting other people in the
hmm
world.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Absolutely. And like I said, season three of Euphoria on HBO. Episodes are rolling out week to week. It's crazy. It's like everyone talks about it like every week. And it's like I said, it's like something everyone looks forward to. So they could check that out. It was so great chatting with you. Thank you so
It's
much for
so
your time.
It was great chatting with you too. Good luck with everything. It's great how much you love it, and it's so special to meet people like you that are so excited to work and like make cool stuff and
Absolutely.
it's
No, really
cool,
appreciate you saying that. And
inspiring.
you do have an Instagram account though, right? If people want to keep up with the date with everything, is it just your name?
It's just Jessica Blair Herman. Oh my
Okay.
God, I sound like Cassie. It's just me. It's just
So they can check
it's
that out. Awesome. Well,
just
this has been Pop
Blair.
Turned at youtube.com/Pop Turn for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Jessica Blair Herman and PD Beats signing off.
You.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.